Hey all, welcome to ShareTrek. Today it's going to be a video on CRISPR Therapeutics. And I thought a lot before making this video because I'm going to critique something that came about CRISPR Therapeutics, an article in Seeking Alpha. I generally look at Seeking Alpha articles. They are well made, and I'm not saying that this article is not well made, but I want to give my critique on it because it doesn't align with the story I have for CRISPR. I want to find out what the viewers of this channel feel about it. So let me first show you the article, and then I'll talk about what the article says, and then I'm going to refute a few points here and there, and explain to you why I disagree with the article and I think CRISPR still has got to find its value. If you ask me what is the price target for CRISPR, I don't have one right now because I haven't done that kind of a thought process. But the premises of this particular article presents me a lot of opportunity to talk about things that I don't agree about, which don't seem to fit in logically with the story that I have for CRISPR. It's possible that the Seeking Alpha guys have got it right and I'm mistaken, and that's where you come in. Please put in the comments what you think about this video. Watch it to the end and let me know if you see any flaws in my argument so that we can realign our thought process and be aligned with the market. That said, I think at any point of time, valuation is very tricky because valuation depends on the story that you have for the company and the numbers that underpin it. And the story depends on our imagination and the possibilities that we visualize, and different people can visualize different possibilities. That's where the subjectiveness comes in. But as long as we can quantify it with some numbers, we would be able to do a reasonable valuation. I have not done the valuation, but I do have the story in place. That's what we're going to talk about. Let's get started. Well, friends, this is the article that I was talking about. What the article reads is that CRISPR Therapeutics is overvalued and there's a rating downgrade. It has a whole series of points. If you look at the summary, it says Casgevy's FDA approval is the key advance in gene editing for SCD, yet it faces high costs and a limited market due to a specialized treatment need. Casgevy's complex treatment, including stem cell process, necessitates costly specialized centers limiting patient access. Intense competition from Bluebird's Lyfgenia and concerns over Casgevy's safety, efficacy, and cost effectiveness affect market penetration. And they're recommending sell due to operational hurdles, competitive pressures, overvaluation, and uncertain long-term prospects despite scientific progress. So this is the summary that they have. There is no more points in here. Now, what I feel is that this is probably not the right way to look at CRISPR Therapeutics. Basically, the article is touching upon a bunch of points. The first one is Casgevy's recent FDA approval being a significant development in gene editing treatments, and I agree 100% with that. It also raises the point that CRISPR Therapeutics stock has risen in 2023 amid speculation about Casgevy's FDA review. I don't think that's a negative point. CRISPR had already fallen a lot before it started coming back up again. So for a moment, let us go back to the CRISPR Therapeutics price chart, and then we'll come back here again. Here you can see the chart for CRISPR Therapeutics. And in this chart, you will notice that CRISPR Therapeutics had been at a very high pricing way back when they didn't have any therapy. They didn't have any approved FDA therapy. 15th of January 2021, they were priced at $220.09. Now tell me this isn't subjective. It depends on the market sentiment and the story that people buy. And since then, it has fallen significantly from $220. It has come down. From $220, it has come down a lot. And each of these candles is a daily candle. Let me just get us back to where we were, today's date. I just wanted to go behind to show you how much it has dropped. $225 at one point of time. And right now, as of end of business, it's quoting at $66.06. So it's at 25% of the valuation that it was at one point of time just about a couple of years ago. And CRISPR is better for it today than it was at that point of time because CRISPR has got approved FDA therapy in which it has a share of profits. That's point number one. Point number two, it has got more than $1 billion in its balance sheet. Point number three, it has got a whole lot of alliances to whom it has proved that it can be a good partner. It has partnered with Vertex for diabetes, VCTX. There is no mention of VCTX in this. This particular article in CK Alpha is focused on Casgevy, and it believes that all the value increase is just because of Casgevy. But the approval of Casgevy also improves the view people have about CRISPR Therapeutics' ability to take VCTX to the T1 and T2 diabetes therapies to the end line. It gives confidence to the market that they can take their CTX series of CD19 and BCMA targeting CAR-T therapies, which are fully autologous and superior, to the finish line. So that's what it demonstrates, and that has value. So those things have not been considered in this, in my opinion. And that's why I would say that the fact that CRISPR Therapeutics price is going up is a very cautious approach, because people did not give CRISPR the value. It started dropping, it kept on going down. And those of us who have been looking at CRISPR Therapeutics from day one, we know how the price has fallen. And at the same time, as the price kept falling, CRISPR Therapeutics was continuing to increase its intellectual property. It was continuing to progress the sickle cell disease, XaCell forward. It was continuing to progress the VCTX series for type 1 and type 2 diabetes forward. It kept pushing forward with the CTX110, and it proved a good deal of data from the initial CTX candidates, so that it can now go ahead with the CD19 and and BCMA targeting CAR-T therapies to address cancer. So I think those are all big points. And another important thing is that it has got a wonderful CEO. The CEO, Samar Kulhar, has been handling this in a no-nonsense manner. He's not high profile, flying all over the place and appearing in social media and all that. He doesn't do those things. He's got his head down, and he's working on making sure that the balance sheet is strong, the alliances are strong, and the therapies make good progress. And they have a good control over their costs as well. And they are doing pretty well. Like many of the companies that you see in our genomics watch list, I don't fear equity dilution in the very near term when it comes to CRISPR Therapeutics. So I think that's the perspective I'd like to bring here. The other point that the article talks about is the operational and financial challenges that exist, including the high cost of Casgevy at $2.2 million and the need for expensive administration centers. So now, my friends, let me ask you this question. Sickle cell disease has not been cured to date except for gene therapies. And the science is such that gene therapies require this kind of a treatment for once and done. So how can there be a superior product at this point of time, given the technology that we have? The product that CRISPR has delivered at this point of time, I think, is cutting-edge technology. In the absence of anything better than that, this is the top dog. And this is going to command the top price. And already insurers are there who have signed up with Bluebird and will also sign up with CRISPR Therapeutics and provide payment to eligible candidates. So I don't think that the involved process is something that one should be worried about. And friends, you know that I do a lot of public service videos for HIV patients, where I talk about various therapies, go into the detail of that, and I examine gene therapies for HIV. Let me tell you this. Most HIV patients would be willing to go for a bone marrow transplant if they can get a CCR5 mutated bone marrow, and they could survive HIV and beat HIV. And here we are talking about sickle cell disease, which is more difficult on the patient than HIV. In HIV, if patient keeps on taking ART, they are leading a normal life. Whereas in sickle cell disease, you got VOEs that happen 2 or 3 times in a quarter, and they are painful and they need transfusion, and transfusion exposes you to the risk of contamination with HIV or hepatitis B or other blood-borne diseases. So it's not a very pleasant thing to have sickle cell disease and to hold off for a treatment that will not involve bone marrow replacement or myeloablation and those kind of things. So I think that this particular point that is mentioned in the article, of course, it's a difficult one, but it is something that FDA has also considered is a good trade-off for this condition, and patients and insurance companies have agreed to that. Next, they are saying Casgevy's limited application is highlighted, targeting only those 12 and older with severe sickle cell disease. Now, let me ask you this question. Is there any other therapy that's going to address the entire spectrum of people? And also, how many of those people who have got sickle cell disease who are under 12 would want to go for myeloablation, which is a very, very difficult procedure, even for grown-ups? Right? So I don't think this is a valid point, in my opinion. Of course, everything is subjective, and the article, the author of the article in the magazine, he had his own ideas, and I have my own ideas. This is what I think based on everything I have read about sickle cell disease, about diabetes, about HIV. I've been reading up on gene therapies for various diseases, and we have been covering them in this channel here. So I think this particular point he spoke about of, it doesn't cover those under 12. I don't think that's a valid point for discounting CRISPR Therapeutics. And it says concerns about potential long-term safety and efficacy issues add to the barriers. And to that, what I would say is that the cost benefit goes into the equation even while the FDA is approving the therapy. FDA would not like to approve a therapy. Upfront, it will say that we don't want you to proceed ahead because your therapy is, first of all, not better than anything that is available in the market. Second of all, your therapy has got too much of limitations and side effect. Third of all, your therapy is very involved, and it's very difficult on the patient. So FDA has gone through this whole thing, and FDA in its wisdom has said that, yeah, this looks good. This is a competitive or a better offering in the market for sickle cell disease and beta thalassemia. So here you go. So I'll go with the FDA on that. And then it goes on to say that there is market skepticism, which is reflected in TD Cowen's downgraded rating. Remember, guys, I was complaining about TD Cowen's rating before and how it was so wrong. I think that particular rating has been quoted by the author in this particular article, citing competition, particularly from Bluebird Bio's LifeGenia. And friends, let me tell you this. LifeGenia is no competition to CRISPR Therapeutics Casgevy, because LifeGenia has got a black box warning from FDA for cancer. So that's a very big mark on LifeGenia. Second thing is that it is $1 million more expensive than Casgevy. So I don't think this particular comment or this particular point in the article which says that competition is from Bluebird Bio's LifeGenia is a negative for CRISPR. I think it is wrong. I think LifeGenia makes CRISPR look better and more appetizing for a potential patient because of the baggage that LifeGenia has got with the black box warnings and the higher price tag, almost $1 million more expensive than Casgevy. And then it says, despite obstacle, CRISPR maintains financial stability with robust cash reserves and controlled expenses. Absolutely, I agree with that point. That's what I mentioned earlier as well. The CEO is absolutely suited for this job. I've been a fan of Samar Kulhar. I think he's running a tight ship. He's got focus on all the areas that he needs to. His balance sheet is really healthy, and he's controlling the expenses very nicely and at the same time progressing therapies. The best thing is that the own therapy of the CTX series of CAR-T therapies, which are 100% owned by CRISPR, they've all been developed on the side while CRISPR was getting paid by Vertex for working on sickle cell disease. So it has used all those income and everything to progress the CTX series on the side and has shown absolutely fantastic data out there. And I'm very hopeful that the CD19 and BCMA CAR-T therapies, allogenic CAR-T therapies from CRISPR Therapeutics would give a big competition to the autologous CD19 and BCMA therapies, CAR-T therapies that are in the market, which the FDA has got a huge concern with. So I think that CRISPR should look even way better because of that. And it says that with high institutional interest but insider sales and fluctuating growth forecasts, which pose challenges. I don't agree with that. And the article also suggests a cautious investment approach due to high market expectations and operational roadblocks. So basically, what they are saying is that you have to set up these treatment centers at various places, and there is operational roadblocks, and it's going to cost, and there'll be logistical issues and all that. We all knew that right from the beginning. It's all priced into the value of CRISPR Therapeutics. So that's how I would look at it. And friends, I would like to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story of CRISPR the way I think it's going to go. CRISPR Therapeutics, I think, is going to be a fabulous company, and its share price is going to grow. I can't give you a prediction right now what it's going to be, but it's definitely going to be a very healthy share price like a big pharma company as the years go by. First success, Casgevy. It's off the block, and it has got approval from the FDA. It's partnered with Vertex. It's got a percentage, 40% of the profits, which it's going to get, and it's doing well. It's already started off, and the revenues will start reflecting in the first quarter of 2024. So far, those kind of line of what I would say product line revenue had not come in for CRISPR. The CRISPR revenue has always been ups and downs, with milestone payments coming and boosting the income in one year, and another year it may be nothing. So now it's going to have a steady baseline of income going forward. On top of that, it will also have milestone payments. So that's another biggie, and it's only going to improve because as Casgevy gets established across the world and all the centers become operational and the process gets streamlined with their third-party manufacturer, it's going to be absolutely amazing. It will work like a well-oiled machine, and it'll start realizing economies of scale that could come in when the same equipment is being used for processing multiple patients using those centers. So that's one point. Second point I would like to talk about is that the diabetes field is immense. Vertex and CRISPR have got a track record now with the sickle cell disease. They work together very well as well-oiled team. And when the VCTX series of diabetes therapies gets approved, which could probably happen end of next year or the year after that, in the first half of next year, that is my opinion. The clinical trials are going well. And I think once that happens, right, there will be another addition of another line of income, or another product line income added to CRISPR Therapeutics. And while that is happening, the CTX CAR-T therapy, CD19 and BCMA CAR-T therapy for cancer will also progress. And somewhere in 2026, I think we can see that getting monetized. So that will be 100% owned by CRISPR. By that time, CRISPR would know how to launch products and how to operationalize and monetize products, because it will be learning from Vertex. And that will add 100% revenue for CRISPR Therapeutics. And of course, the ability of CRISPR to deliver at such a rate for Vertex is going to attract attention from all other big pharma who would like to collaborate with CRISPR and offer them contracts to develop therapies. And do not forget that CRISPR has officially mentioned that they are scouting for partners for candidates on their pipeline. So they are looking to distribute the risks and share the profits. So they are looking at mitigating the risk as well as saving an opportunity for getting the profits. So I think that's a very, very mature approach. And friends, I think that's the story of CRISPR Therapeutics. I can see it as a big company like Pfizer or something 5 years down the line. It will be a powerhouse in gene therapies. And of course, one of the conditions I would put to that is that CRISPR Therapeutics has got to look at advanced gene editing technologies, because if it doesn't do that, then I think Beam and Prime will eat its lunch, breakfast, and dinner. So they have to stay ahead, and they need to now start looking at more improved gene editing technologies and start using that for new therapies and showing a track record out there of being able to master those kind of manufacturing techniques. So friends, that's what I am thinking. And I'm sorry I got a bit emotional about CRISPR because, as you all know, that this is one of my favorite gene editing companies. And this is a company that I started covering first in the channel. And it has done very well so far to my expectations. And I want you guys to let me know what you think about this. I'll put a link to the Seeking Alpha article in the comment section so that you can read it for yourself. Maybe I have read it differently, or maybe my story is different from what the author thinks about it. But I want to hear from you because you guys have been on this journey with me for the last 2.5, 3 years, following gene therapies and watching all my videos on CRISPR Therapeutics. Please let me know what's your feedback. Please put that in the comments below. Thanks and have a great day. Bye for now.